What's up, guys? Your boy L checking, and look, Panama City, guys. So if you've never been to Panama City and you think you know Panama City because you've been to Central America or the Caribbean, it's different. It's a little different. So it's my second time there, and it's an interesting place. For those of you who don't know, Panama City has a lot of history with the U.S., and you could definitely feel that crossover in the infrastructure and a bunch of stuff. So look, let's get right into it. So first thing first, and this one was a big one for me, Airbnb versus hotels. I'm gonna just come out and say it. I strongly recommend you get a hotel in Panama as opposed to Airbnb. And for anyone who has even watched a few of my videos, you guys know I am not a hotel person. But look, hear me out. The way Panama City is set up, price and location wise, it's one of the few countries that actually makes sense to book a hotel. And it's for a few reasons. Panama runs on the US dollar, and we'll talk a lot more about that in a minute. But kind of as a result of this, many hotels often like the same price, if not less expensive than Airbnbs. And at the same time, it's better quality. And I'll put a video up of my hotel so you can see, kind of the feel and the vibe of the hotel, what you get for your money, and all that stuff. And you can kind of make the comparison because I also put some Airbnbs here just so you're able to compare it. But as I was saying, you kind of don't get that price perk that you're used to in other countries where you're going to be paying less for Airbnb and getting equal quality. It's kind of the reverse. Another Airbnb Pro that becomes a non-factor in Panama City is the kitchen and cooking perks. Since groceries are priced in the US dollar, a lot of times you'll find yourself ordering out way more than you'll find yourself cooking. And the price difference is negligible as far as if you order out or you go grocery shopping because it's working on the US dollar, and those prices can kind of get up there. And look, as a person who stays in a bunch of Airbnbs, I love the fact that I can go out cook, but when the price is coming up is the same as if I'm going to order out, of course I'm going to order out. On top of that, hotel culture in Panama is surprisingly more inviting than Airbnbs in other countries. They operate a lot more like US hotels. Again, we get into that, I don't know if I want to call it the US influence, but it's way more similar to a US hotel, that doesn't micromanage as much as hotels in other countries unless they absolutely need to. So whereas in other countries, you have hotels who have the tendency to knock on your door when the music is too loud, watch who is coming in and out, all of that stuff. That's not the vibe in Panama. It's a way more relaxed vibe. And I really didn't feel like I was being watched. I felt like I had that privacy and liberty that I usually have in Airbnb. So if I'm going to pay the same amount of money, why not get a hotel? Now, this isn't to say that you could bring 15 people in a Panama hotel and have a party. No, that's not gonna work. And I mean, the way Airbnb is going nowadays, you're not gonna be able to do that in Airbnbs either. But it is to say that it's a way more relaxed vibe. And just the last point before I just switch the subject here is location. So the location bonus is going to completely blow out anything you're going to be able to find on Airbnb. And this means staying in a hotel for the same price, you're going to actually get a better location, be in like the city center areas, which are, full of hotels, as opposed to the Airbnbs, which are on the outskirts. So if you have an $80 hotel right in the middle of Casco Viejo, which is like, the old town, the colonial city, think about Cartagena, you're gonna be able to get that versus something on the outskirts paying $80, and it may not even be as luxurious as the hotel in the city center. So for Panama City, only for Panama City. Look, guys, I'm not arguing for hotels in general. Just for Panama City, I think it's super important that you guys look at hotels versus Airbnbs. It's a better bang for your buck. So speaking about bucks, we'll get right into the next topic, which is money and prices. So guys, for those who don't know, Panama operates off the US dollar. I'm not talking about the way tourist areas in Mexico or Jamaica operate off the US dollar. I'm talking about the way US does. So literally the first time I went to the country, I remember taking out a $5 bill and asking my friend if I could use this to pay for something, right? This is a little story. She said yes. I said, "You sure?" I'm just checking it out, just checking the temperature. She opened up her wallet and showed me a $10 US bill. Just for the record, I shut up and I just kept going because she flexed on me. And now I know a lot of you may be thinking, well, that's a good thing, right? Because now you get to avoid the currency exchange. You get to avoid having to constantly convert numbers. You get to hopscotch over all of that stuff. Well, it depends. For me, I'd say it's a good thing if Panama was using a dollar as like a second currency, which is kind of is, but at the same time, it's not because the Panamanian Bolivar is set to the US dollar 1 to 1. So it's literally no difference. It has the same purchasing power, which means, let's say, if there's a can of Coca-Cola, right, in Panama for 1 Bolivar, it's also $1, as opposed to if there's a can of Coca-Cola in Mexico for 3 pesos, it's probably 50 cent US. Now, of course, you know, this all depends on the country, state you're coming from, if this is going to make a big difference. Because some people living in New York who don't mind paying $1 for a can of Coke, just for example. But there's other people who live in other parts of the city, countries, and all that, and that will be a lot of money. So it's just something to keep your eyes out for. You will be paying the US dollars. A lot of the prices that I experienced were like almost identical to New York prices. For example, if you're gonna go out and get an appetizer, you're gonna be paying like $8, $9. So you won't see those discounts that you're used to seeing in other countries. And that could be really tricky, especially if you're used to budgeting based on the prices you've experienced in Latin America countries. Like I said, it's a little different. So that's something to look out for. And on top of that, just so you know, and as I alluded to, my friend whipping out that $10 bill, don't go to Panama with the idea that the green is um, gold. Don't go there thinking that the American dollar is this super strong currency that can let you do what you want because, you know, it's not. They're to earn dollars as well. So it is what it is. Leave your American pride, leave your American, let's say, privilege at the door. All right, guys, number 3, infrastructure and safety. And I know a lot of people may be thinking, why did I put the two together? So let me explain. A lot of times we don't realize it, but our general feelings of how safe a place is based on how developed the country is, how developed the neighborhood is. So when we see broken down buildings and unpaved roads, we think there's a ton of crime. And this is why I almost view Panama City as Latin America's Miami, minus, the South Beach. Panama from a skyline, it's like literally full of skyscrapers, big buildings, super high buildings, all of that stuff. You get this sense of like security, safety, if it's all of this infrastructure, there got to be a lot of money here, which means there's a lot of protection here, which is generally true. But just as there's sketchy parts of Miami, there's sketchy parts of Panama. So I don't want you to make the false like equivalence. And you definitely get that feeling once you get off the airport and you ride into the city because you can see the whole skyline. So you may relax your guard a little bit, but I don't want you to. Keep your eyes open, stay aware, because as you've seen in like some of my other videos, I go walk in the neighborhoods and there's pockets where, there is some let's say less than safe feeling neighborhoods around. But it's important that you just keep that in mind as you navigate the city and get a feel of the things you want to do. Make sure you're doing your research so you don't end up in one of those neighborhoods. All right, guys, number 4, talking about navigating the city. Number 4 is things to do and duration. So I kind of break this section into 2 pieces because everyone is different, right? Everybody got their like travel preferences. So I'm gonna say, unless you're coming to Panama purely for the nightlife, you will need at least 4 days in the country. I repeat, you will need at least 4 days in the country. Why do you say that? Well, all right, I'm gonna say it like this. How I see it, Panama City is pretty huge, and there's a lot of things to do in the city itself, nightlife and sightseeing. I think those things are pretty possible to do in maybe 3 days. But then you get into the activities that are outside of the actual city, like, going to islands, checking out the nature, checking out the countryside. All of those things are kind of things that are like 1 a day kind of things. So if you want to do 4 things outside of the city, that's 4 days itself. It's gonna be hard to fit anything else in that day if you actually leave the city. You want to make sure you plan ahead for those things. You want to make sure you're making an agenda with, things that are realistic. So you're not packing an agenda with like, oh, I'm going to an island this day, but I'm also going zip line, and oh, I'm going to the countryside this day, but I'm also going here. You want to make sure you're keeping that in mind while you're planning, and definitely getting a longer stay so you can actually enjoy your stay. Now, if you're going just for the weekend and turn up, I'm telling you, you could do that in 3 days. But anything more, if you're really trying to have like a vacation where you're getting like things done and you're seeing the country, you're gonna want to start with 4, and I would say go up to maybe like 7 days just to fully get a hold of everything. All right, number 5. This one's gonna be quick. It didn't really affect me, but I think it's important to say because it could affect you depending on when you're traveling, and that's the weather. I'm gonna just say while I was there, the weather treated me really good, but I've heard some really bad stories about the rainy season in Panama. I'll put the general months down here. I heard about flooding, storms, and like it just could be miserable. And Panama City isn't one of those cities that you can, at least from my perspective, you can like really enjoy yourself when it rains. It's just such a good place to be outdoors, and it's such a good place to be able to, mix and mingle and travel around. And I don't know, I didn't find it a place that you could be indoors and enjoy yourself, but teach its own. But I just want to throw that in. Make sure you try to avoid the rainy season as much as you can. All right, guys, number 6. I know you guys are tired of hearing me. My throat hurt and all of that, guys. It's a lot of work. Pause. All right. All right, check it out. So, number 6, and I hope you guys aren't super disappointed, but it's Nightlife. And I'm just gonna say it. I wasn't able to make Nightlife video while I was in Panama City. I'm sorry. Sue me, guys. But I do want to point out that Panama is super underrated when it comes to nightlife. A lot of people skip over nightlife and they talk about places like Colombia, DR, Puerto Rico, all of that stuff, and they just completely leave off Panama. They just completely leave off Panama. And it's crazy because, and I'm a victim of this too, I gotta raise my hand. It's crazy because Panama has so many reggaeton artists, and they represent so crazy, but they do get overlooked. And just a quick story, when I was learning Spanish, one of my favorite artists was this black guy called Sech. Dark skinned guy. He's like reggaeton Biggie Smalls, like big dude. And I thought this dude was from the DR. I thought this dude was Dominican, bro, because he looked like Big Papi or David Ortiz. So I'm thinking this dude is from DR because he's on all these songs with the big artists, Puerto Rican artists, the Boricos, shout out to the Boricos. Um, and then I found out dude is from Panama, and I'm like, yo, what? Panama got reggaeton artists. Panama got artists doing it like this. Gotta check it out. So I went out there. It was rocking and rolling. Crazy. You guys gotta check it out. The main spot for nightlife is Casco Viejo. I was over there in the daytime. I did check it out in the daytime for you guys if you want to watch that. Again, Casco Viejo is like the old city in Cartagena. If you haven't been to Cartagena, the old city is like the colonial, colorful city, colorful buildings. I also put some videos or pictures down here so you can see that too. Um, but look, I mean, check it out, man. Just don't sleep on it. You're gonna have a good time. And I think that's it, guys. I think I'm gonna stop it here, man. I mean, I got it all down. 1, 2, 3, got the 6 things. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it helped you. I hope this is gonna help your itinerary. Please like, comment, subscribe, guys. For real, like, channel cannot survive without the support. So please take a minute to do that. Just know it's out checking. Do it on YouTube. Not a YouTuber. Shout out for watching the video. Like, ah. What's up, guys? If you like the shirt you see me wearing in this video or any of my other videos, check out the description box below to get yours.